I made this video for my grade 3 students that they are right now sitting in their home. Then they need to kind of like still learn about the history lessons. Alright, so today we're going to talk about the Code of Hammurabi. Code of Hammurabi. Okay? So the years like 1894 until 1595 BC. So that is now it happens probably not far away from the story of Jacob and Esau. During the let's go back to the Mesopotamia. We haven't talked about Mesopotamia for quite some times now. Mesopotamia, it's the land between two rivers. Remember that one? The name of the river is Euphrates and also Tigris. Now together Mesopotamia and then the Canaan and also the Egypt, it's considered to be as the Fertile Crescent. Fertile Crescents because why? In this region, in this area, the land is it's where the kind of like the earliest civilizations grow and thrive. Okay, because the land itself is fruitful. Okay, I mean it's easier for them to have crops, to grow crops. Yeah, grow crops, more food, you can build city. If you guys remember the story, Abraham came from the city of Ur. Yeah, from the city of Ur. Now, the city of Ur was not the only one, kind of like major cities in the Mesopotamia. There are also other major cities. Okay, there are also other cities other than Ur. Ur was being built by the Sumerian people. The Sumerian people are the predominantly people who are living in Mesopotamia during those time. They built several cities. Now each cities are dedicated for one particular god. Okay, one particular god or goddesses. Like for example, when we talk about city of Ur, there was this kind of like Ziggurat. Okay, I'll show you guys the pictures. If you guys remember that pictures of Ziggurat. Now, what is the function of the Ziggurat? The Ziggurat is the place where the people worship their god. Now, the Ziggurat in city of Ur is dedicated for their idols, plural, for their idols, the sun god and also the moon god. The sun god is by the name of Sin. Got nothing to do with sin in the Bible. Sin is the sun god, and the moon god is known as a Nana. Yeah, sounds cute, huh? Nana. So Nana is the moon god, and Sin is the sun god, and that Ziggurat is dedicated for these two gods. The idea of a god, it goes like this. Okay, the god, as you guys kind of remember my lectures, the Mesopotamian god is unpredictable. And they kind of like see human as basically as a servants to do their errands, to do their wills. They require someone to become the king. Now this king or the ruler is considered to be someone that is powerful, that considered to be half god. Okay, half human, half god. And yeah, if you're asking me, is it true, Mr. Jeremy? Of course, it's not. Again, go back to the Sumerian people. Now, one of the city in Mesopotamia known as the city of Babylon. The city of Babylon was being built not by the Sumerian. It was being built by the Amorites people, the Amorites. Well, probably this is the first time that you heard the word Amorites. Oftentimes you will hear the word of Amorites when you read the book of Joshua. There will be kind of like described there in the neighbors of the Israelites, right? The Jebusites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the what else? The Termites. Just kidding. Termites is like not one of the tribes. Okay, Amorites. The Amorites considered to be not Sumerian people. The Sumerian people doesn't really like them. Didn't really like them because they were considered to be rude and violent, more kind of like barbaric according to the Sumerian people. Nevertheless, this Amorites, they built the city of Babylon. Don't be mistaken. There are two types of Babylon here. The old Babylon. Now we're going to talk about the old Babylon and the new Babylon. Okay, the old Babylon is this one, the lecture. And then the new Babylon, we'll talk about it later in maybe in grade 4. The new Babylon is the Babylon that during the time of when Daniel and Israel and some of the Jews were being exiled in the captivity. Yeah, that is a new Babylon. Now, got nothing to do with this old one. One of the famous kind of ruler from the old Babylon is, before I talk about the king, I kind of like forgot to mention, why they name it Babylon, Mr. Jeremy? Babylon means the gate of heaven. Oh, cool, huh? The gate of heaven, Babylon. Yeah, I guess. So, now, Babylon, one of the Babylon king, the famous one is someone by the name of Hammurabi. I think I am lucky enough to travel back in time and take pictures of his face. Here, I'll show it here. There you go. Yeah, there you go. This is the pictures before I got caught. So I ended up there. Whee! Yeah, right. So, just kidding. I don't use travel time machine, okay? Right. Hammurabi, he was famous for his work that he made a set of law by the name of Hammurabi law or Code of Hammurabi. Now, what is Code of Hammurabi? Now, don't be mistaken. Don't be confused with the word code. Code means written law. Now, it's kind of cool things, you know, what Hammurabi did. Sounds simple, but it's kind of cool. Now, imagine that you play a game or you play a sport or whatever it is or game, but let's just say the rules are not written. And the rules are not kind of like, you know, somehow the rules keep changing. Depends on whoever, the one who runs the game. How does it feel? Yeah, not so fun, huh? Now, Hammurabi, he made himself the law by the name of like Hammurabi law, and he make it written. Now, think about it. He make it written. Now, it was a big deal during those times because on the normal times, law were never being written. It was just like orally being said by the ruler or by the king. But he make it written on a huge slab of stone that looks like an index finger. We call it as a stele. Okay, stele. So stele is a stone. It's a giant stone. It's not a giant stone. It's a big stone that looks like an index finger. The color, as you can see, the color of the stone is black, and then it's being put. Okay, this law, the written law, the Hammurabi law, put in the middle of the market, put in the middle of the crowded place, so everyone can read, everyone can see, everyone can follow the rules, everyone can follow the law that written by Hammurabi. It is important for Hammurabi to make this law because he conquered a lot of lands in Mesopotamia. Now, before he conquered all of these lands, of course, right, people from different cities, they have different rules, they have different lifestyles. Of course, Hammurabi felt that he need to make a standard law that everyone can read, everyone can understand, everyone can obey, no matter what the culture, no matter what the language that they speak. Talks about language, the Hammurabi law or the Code of Hammurabi is written in cuneiform alphabet. I'll show you guys the example somewhere here. Cuneiform, okay? Now, this cuneiform alphabet, when we talk about the Code of Hammurabi, if I have to summarize what is Code of Hammurabi, Code of Hammurabi is being summarized as an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Think about that. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. If you take out someone's eye, accidentally or purposely, that means the punishment for you, the one who did it, is that your eye will also be taken away. If you are somehow causing someone to die, that means it's being expected that you are also to be put to death. Very harsh, very harsh. If you, let's just say, you are make someone's become, lose his hand, that means same thing too, like you will lose his hands. It's a very harsh kind of like law. Yeah, it is harsh. The purpose of his law is to discourage people to do bad things to others, to do bad things to their neighbors, by thinking about the consequences, by thinking about the severe consequences. Okay? Now, when we talk about the Hammurabi law, it's something that probably you are familiar with your daily kind of like activities, right? You and your siblings or you and your classmate. I'm pretty sure your parents never taught you this one, but come on, admit it, okay? Oh, don't raise your hand. No need to raise your hand. How many of you guys that were like that? Okay, someone, your sibling or your classmate, okay, hurt you or kind of like make you sad, make you upset, and what would you do to him or to her? You will retaliate, right? You want justice. I want justice. He poked my eyeball, so I have to poke his eyeballs back. But this is the thing: when you want for justice and you try to create your own justice by damaging or by taking someone else, property or eyes or whatever it is, then what happened? What happened? You will be satisfied if the person is kind of like losing something that worse than he create to you. Perhaps you will be more satisfied if for example, your sibling, for example, accidentally poke one of your eyeball. Oh, that's horrible. Don't do that. Don't try it at home. And what would you do? You will feel satisfied if that your siblings being like what, both of his eyes being poked. Well, deep inside of our heart, we will feel happy. Now that's what we call sin. Okay, our sinful desire. Yeah, we want justice on others, but we want mercy on us. Code of Hammurabi is not perfect. It's something that you're probably familiar with. Okay, it's not something that foreign, an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Okay. However, there will be this another new law that being introduced by Moses. Moses got this law from God. Okay, the Ten Commandments, and also extra 600 plus law if you read the book of Leviticus, Deuteronomy. Okay, there will also another additional 600 law. If you later when you read that book, or maybe someday we'll talk about that one, you'll find out that the law that God gave to Moses is completely different than Code of Hammurabi. It looks the same, but it's not. If the Code of Hammurabi emphasize on things that you have to replace with the harsh kind of like consequences, with the goal is to kind of like scaring off people not to harm each others, not to take something from someone else. For the Moses law, for the Mosaic law, is the emphasis goes like this: when someone being hurt, when someone's being kind of like when you're taking someone else's property, it create a broken hearted, right? It create a separation in the relationship. Before you were friend, but you're no longer friend. Yeah. Before you were neighbor, you're no longer neighbor. Yeah, because of that one particular sin, one particular mistake. The goal of the Moses law, or God's law through Moses, is to restore the relationship back to one is before. Okay? We'll talk more about it. It's not harsh, but then again, it's more kind of like the goal is to make the person, the person is become friend again. The person become family again. Yeah, that is the goal. That is the difference. How the Code of Hammurabi is being applied to the Sumerian. To the Sumerian people, to the Mesopotamian people during this time. For example, yeah, this is how weird it is. Let's just say you are a house builder. Okay, you design a house, and after that you build a house. Okay, and somehow in the process that you are miscalculate the numbers of the bricks that needed, the numbers of the mortars that you needed to put the stones in place. And let's just say after the house is done, and now the owner lives. Okay, the owner lives, and then the owner of the house, the one that you built, and let's just say one day the house collapses. Okay, it crumbles, the roof falls off, and then somehow it killed the son of the house owner. According to the Code of Hammurabi, what will be the consequences for you as the builder? Guess. Yeah, your son will also be put to death as the punishment. Another example. For example, let's just say you are simple. If you're a police, okay, if you're a guards, and of course your job is to kind of like catching up the bad guys, catching up the thief, criminals. Okay, let's just say in the process that you cannot find the thief, you cannot arrest the thief, and after that put the thief into prison, or kind of like somehow give a punishment or put to death the thief. Then what will happen to you as a guard? Then you will be prison. You will have to execute instead of the thief if you cannot caught. Very harsh, very harsh. Another example, if you're a doctor, according to the Code of Hammurabi, you are trying to save someone else's life. Yeah, you kind of like do some operation. You try to kind of like heal him, like putting him medicine, put him with the medicine, give him medicine, something like that. And let's just say the patient died. According to the Code of Hammurabi, yep, exactly. You as the doctor, you'll be the blame. Okay, you'll have to be punished. It's very harsh. It's very harsh. Now, and also when you think that by kind of like giving a severe consequences, justice will be created, actually not at all. Not at all. In reality, the Code of Hammurabi only very harsh to the people, the lower class people. Okay, the commoners, the poor people. But if you're a nobles, if you're a wealthy person, you can get away from this law. You can just pay someone to take off your consequences, to receive the punishment instead of you. And that is even allowed by the Code of Hammurabi. So it's not fair at all. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you guys next time. And good luck with your quiz, okay? Bye.